Hi, welcome back to Wine Mastery. Have we got a little special treat for you this evening? Well, we hope. It's sparkling wine, yet more sparkling wine. So this particular wine comes from the Southern Hemisphere. In fact, it comes from South Africa. It is, I believe, about 70 miles, 77.8 miles now, around 70 miles to the northeast of Cape Town in South Africa. I understand that a brother and sister purchased this vineyard, which is hundreds of years old, and they produce vintage, their equivalent of vintage champagne. Sparkling wine.
I don't think I've ever tried a South African sparkling wine.
Have you not?
I can't. While you were just doing the intro, then I was thinking to myself, South African sparkling, and I really can't think that I have. So, right, I'm very interested in this one.
Well, it's called Krone. It's the bottle here and the label. I think it's made in a traditional method.
Okay.
So hopefully it's just made from the Chardonnay grape rather than the sort of the normal three that they go for, which Chardonnay is normally one. The other one is Pinot Noir, and the third one is that one we can never remember how to pronounce, Meunier or something.
Meunier.
Meunier.
I don't know if that's how I pronounce it. Meunier, yeah.
Yeah. So this one's just made from Chardonnay, which is that what de Blancs are made from?
I believe so.
De Blanc, should I say?
The pronunciation always gets me wrong, but I think you're right. The Chardonnay is the Blanc de Blanc.
Right. So I'm really excited about tasting this. Now, this was also recommended, just to let you know, this was recommended by Sol Vinham, who lives down in Devon and works in wine merchants down there. And he recommended that we give this one a go. He thinks it's great. So his recommendations are normally very good. So
let's give it a go then.
Let's give it a go.
The first thing that I see on there is the colour. It's very dark.
Yeah, it's very dark. Very buttery, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely probably a dark gold colour, but much darker than I would have expected from a sparkling wine.
Now I think that I'm just looking down at the notes here. I think it sort of sits for 18 months on the lees.
On the lees, okay, yeah.
So I guess that's where it's getting its colour from.
Yeah, quite possibly. Let's give it a go on the nose.
Okay. That's nice, actually.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that smells.
I'm getting that little bit of sort of doughiness, the sort of British biscuity, which normally you only get with champagne, and not normally only when you're paying a little bit more.
Yeah, that smells classy, doesn't it? It smells like it. If I were to be smelling that, I would actually say on that blind tasting, that smells very champagne-y.
Yeah. Champagne-esque is so much more sophisticated than champagne-y.
Well, we can live with it, John. But no, that smells really good. I've got bigger expectations.
So have I.
Shall we have a go on then?
Oh, let's go.
Let's do it.
No, I am getting that brioche butteriness to begin with, and then I'm getting apple.
Apple is the main thing in there for you. Immediately, this apple. It might have been apple, then the kind of the doughiness, but it's definitely there on the after flavour for me.
And the other thing I got, which wasn't it was a result of the wine, but I'm not sure it's not normally there for everyone, is because traditionally before we film we have fish and chips, don't we?
Yes, we do.
So about an hour ago we had fish and chips, and just right at the end there, I tasted the fish and chips again.
I think this would have been absolutely perfect with our fish and chips. That would have been well. But I tell you what, I've noticed, just when you're talking about fish and chips, I'm thinking the acidity. The acidity is not too harsh on there.
No, it's not.
Sometimes when it's been so gentle and nice behind here that it's not something that I even thought about commenting on. Do you know? Because it fell in beautifully with the actual wine.
Yeah.
No, mate. I'm just struggling myself now to get over that. The red apple, particularly the red apple, the skin. If you were to chew that skin there, I think that is sitting right beautifully on that.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to get underneath that though.
Well, so you're thinking that it's not as complex as you would like.
I won't say as complex as I would like because I like it, but it's not as just not complex. But then is that just me overthinking the wine? Because that is. To drink that, I'm thinking, it's really nice. It's juicy. It's what I want from there. So this is good, especially for a sparkling wine as well. I mean, one glass would probably do me. I'm not saying that I'd run to get another one, but there's nothing wrong with that. And what's the price, John?
The price is $14.99. if you're buying 6.
I remember saying that it was see for $14.99, and if you could compare that to a fair few champagnes that we've tried in the past.
Oh, and other sparkling wines. And normally,
Yep.
even English sparkling wine, we're talking probably another £10 on top of that, aren't
Yep.
we? So,
Yep.
yeah, so another sort of 60%.
I knew it now. But no, I'm completely with it. That £15.
Yeah.
When I say it does what it says on the tin, I'm doing it a disservice there because it's classier than that. But
I thought you were going to say because it's not in a tin.
No, sometimes we drink highballs, but no, that is I'm enjoying that, and for the money, don't think you go wrong.
No, I'm very impressed with it. I guess that yes, it's not as sophisticated maybe as the Chapel Down that we tried.
Yeah.
But it is £10 cheaper.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in the point you made about you would probably not have another glass of that. Is that because you feel it's too acidic, or?
No, sorry. That would just be drinking sparkling and champagne in general. I think one glass as an aperitif or as a welcome, or however it might be, one glass would do me anyway.
Yeah.
So there would be certain exceptions, but yeah, one glass, and then I'd move on to something else.
It's the exception being Christmas Day when you have Paul Roger and you have it's just a bottle glass.
Just in the bath with bubbles and bubbles.
Bubbles and bubbles. Okay, so let's move on to pairing.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can immediately think my pairing would be Délice de Cremière, which I have paired before. I'll have to look back on the videos because the sparkling I generally do pair with the Délice de Cremière, which is like triple cream cheese, delicious, rich, crowd pleaser. Maybe something like that's going to cut through it. I will have to look through the video as well because I need to up my game, don't I? If I'm just saying Délice de Cremière all the time.
Well, no, I mean if that is that
would be the go-to.
I would say it's a bit like saying, well, I'm not Cremière de Elise.
Délice de Cremière.
Délice de Cremière. I say, well, that's the perfect one, but I'm not going to say that because I've said it before. So I'll talk about something else, which is second best.
Yeah, the second best that I would we're going to be probably sitting along the same line, something like the Wigmore, which is like an English brie made with Guernsey gold top milk. So again, that has that kind of, it's a very similar thing, very rich.
It's English,
Yes.
but it's made with Guernsey milk,
Yeah.
which isn't English.
No.
Wow.
I know. I'm only one man.
Go figure, eh?
Go bigger, yeah?
Go figure.
I would say the go bigger. It works very well though. That's almost. In fact, if I'm thinking now about the tasting notes of what I'll put on the Délice de Cremière or the Cremière de Lucie, that one.
Cremière de Lisi.
Yeah, it would. The tasting notes are very, very same in that they're quite very rich and very salty. So yeah, we're on that same level, aren't
We are.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've already said fish and chips for sure would go with this. Obviously, any fishy dish.
Fishy
dish. Anyone think that I'd had a lot to drink before I've started? I've only had one glass. One of those evenings. But I think white meats. Actually, I think the other thing that struck me, I think it would go quite well, would be smoked salmon and scrambled egg.
Oh yeah.
So if you're having this, on a festive morning, like Christmas morning or Thanksgiving or something, you're having a little bit of a posh breakfast and a scrambled egg and a bit of smoked salmon, and this, I think, would kick the day off quite nicely.
With a little bit of truffle on top as well.
Oh, well, I can't have that.
Oh no, you can't, of course. No.
I'm allergic, so that's
and that is a bit
sad.
No, I was just thinking it's a bit over the top, isn't it? A bit of truffle on there.
No, not
if it's
like
Christmas
Why?
morning.
It's Christmas. You want to do stuff over the top on Christmas morning,
Yeah.
in your Christmas Jimmy Jams and having breakfast.
Opulence.
Yes, decadence.
Yeah, yes, decadence. That's the
Decadence.
Yeah.
So okay, so we've got. Should we move on to the scoring?
Oh yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
$14.99. Okay, cracking bet.
Okay.
I'll go first. So I feel it deserves a fairly good score for what it is. Enjoyed it. Over the top with the acidity in there. But I'm not going to go too wild. I'm going to give it this 49. I'm going to 7. Oh, there you go. I'm good with that.
Okay, and I am going to go for 79.
Very close, John. 78.
Okay.
Which is about very, 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 very close. Again, It's a very nice. It's a very nice bit of sparkling. We'll call it sparkling. It looks like it could go with lots of things. The price is good. It's nothing that made us go wow, but not everyone needs to make us go wow.
No, absolutely. The place and the time and place.
Yeah.
I'm getting everything back to front.
What's that?
Well, instead of saying time and place, I said place and time.
Cremière de Lys.
And least the cremière.
The least to get. I don't know, John. He's obviously been drinking, and before I got here. Who knows, John?
No, it's obviously I haven't been. I think that's probably the problem.
Yeah, you need to perhaps drink some more.
Yeah, I probably do need to drink some more. Okay, well, once again, thank you. Thank you very much, Sol Vinham, for giving us a recommendation. Very nice, very worthwhile to try. They are all vintage, so this is pretty special. And I understand from what I've read that that they do change because they're vintage year on year. They will be different depending on the season. So that makes it really interesting. Okay, guys, there'll be some other videos that we're doing in terms of sort of seasonal drinks if you're on Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's Day. So we'll put some links to those. Until next time, guys, we look forward to sharing a nice glass of wine with you very soon. Ciao.
Chin chin.
Chin chin.